In this tutorial, I am going to explain you about constructors. Constructors. The name itself, you can understand that constructor which constructs an object. Constructor means which initializes an object. You can initialize. You will have a say something. You have a class called apple. In this, you will have a two what we call instance variables, that is int x comma int y. You have to initialize those variables. So you can initialize this by using a constructor. You can initialize without using a constructor too, but using this constructor gives you reduces the time complexity as well as the memory complexities. That is the space concept complexity. What is constructor? Which initializes an object. And second one is, this constructor is a method, but it doesn't have any return type, even void. You should remember this. This you may come across these questions in Viva or interview point of view. Return type. No, there is no return type for this. Even void also, there is even void. Also you cannot indicate. In methods, if there is no return type, you will write you will write before the function as a void no. If it does not return any int or a character, but in constructor it doesn't return any value. But even that void also you should not indicate. There are two types, actually three types of constructors are there. I'll explain you with the help of a program. First, a constructor. How many methods are there for constructors? How many ways of constructors are there? There are three ways of using constructors. One is parameterized constructor, and second one is non-parameterized constructor, and third one is default or dummy constructor. I'll explain these three types of constructor with the program. We'll take a class apple, and then we'll have two instance variables, that is int a and int b. And then I have told that I didn't told you, no. But, constructor is a method itself, but there is no return type, even void. And also constructor name is same as the class name. Here the class name is my class name is apple. No, I will have the method with the same name as a class name, that is apple, without any parameters I'm writing here, though there is no return type also. And here I will leave off this and I will continue. Wait. To constructor, I will explain you. Wait. Then after declaring this class, we'll have another class, that is class execute, and here we'll have a public static void main. In this we'll take string arguments, no, through command prompt. Here we'll create an object, that it may be a object as the class name is apple a equal to new apple. I explained you before itself that how the memory is allocated when you create an object with the class name apple, how new operator is required, and all the things I'll explain in the before video itself. Now a object is created. Now I'm sending no parameters. Here I will say that a equal to 0, b equal to 0. Then what happens, as I called here that apple a is equals to new apple without any parameters, it calls this constructor. Wait, here I'll initialize another constructor too. Int x comma int y. A equal to x and b equal to y. And I will create another object of apple class itself, that may be apple b equal to new apple. I'll give parameters as 5 comma 6. That's it. When you create an object a without any parameters, here you are not passing any parameters, right? Then this constructor is invoked. Here it initializes the a and b instance variables to 0. When you create an object b, you are passing parameters as 5 comma 6. Then this constructor is invoked, and a 5 is going to the x variable and 6 is going to y variable, so that x is assigned to a, y is assigned to b, so that 5 value will be in a instance variable and a 6 value will be in b instance variable. That means we are initializing the variables which are declared in the class with the help of constructor. That is the help of constructor. And before I said that there are three types of constructor, that is parameters, non-parameters, and default constructor. Here we are not passing any constructors, right? So it is a non-parameterized constructor, non-parameterized. Here it is taking arguments, right, x comma y. So it is a parameterized constructor. Here there is a parameters, right? Parameterized constructor. That's what the parameters non-parameterized. And what is default constructor? When the suppose are like that, there will be, if you don't write any of this constructor, just leave off this, you don't write anything. Now if you don't write any constructor, JVM only writes a constructor that is known as dummy constructor, default constructor. It may be in the form of maybe class without any body. It will be the construct which is defined by the JVM will be in the form of this class without any body. The constructor ends. This was a dummy constructor, is which you get if you don't write if you don't give any constructor here. That's what for this video. We'll come and we'll learn about overloading methods in the next tutorial.